So I finally found the clip. And what clip am I talking about? And why does this matter? You might be asking yourself. I'm glad you asked, because I'll tell you why. Proof. And this is the whole point of why I'm doing this. Not guesses, not sensationalism, not conspiracies, documented proof. Because Mark Carney's nice, polished little resume, the one that the liberals and the mainstream media class have been fawning all over, actually starts to look ugly the longer you peel back the layers of this onion. So let's rewind. Bank of England, United Nations, Brookfield, World Bank, GFANZ, Climate Finance, Advisor, Prime Minister. Sounds impressive, right? It is impressive. This is the whole point of this. It sounds really good. It's very serious, very global, very don't worry, the adults are in the room serious. Let me start over a little bit. This isn't just about Mark Carney's resume, okay? This is about breadcrumbs, a trail that's been left for all of us. And thanks to the innovation of the internet, we're able to capitalize on these breadcrumbs/trails. One thing's for certain, and you need to keep in mind, Mark Carney did not end his United Nations role for ESG to go work at Brookfield. No. He was doing both at the same time. And that's the problem here. One hat was the public hat, the UN climate finance guy for the world. He's the guy helping push this big, global, massive, out of this world idea with massive piles of money so they could move it into basically the green, sustainable sector and make it investable. To save the planet, of course. The trees, the bees, the oceans, the children, to avoid a sixth mass extinction.
One of the things, Mr. Polyev, is perhaps unlike you, I accept that climate change is real. We're talking about the sixth mass extinction, and the issue to address it requires renewable energy.
Right? That's what all this is about, Carney. And then there's the other hat, Brookfield, a giant soul-sucking behemoth of an investment company basically looking at this whole climate push and saying, there's a shit ton of money here. Big money. Let's build products. And yeah, keep mentioning birds and bees and that bullshit. And that's where this gets ugly. On one side, Carney's basically helping to push the world towards climate financing and investing. But on the other side of this whole thing, he's working for the company that sells this climate investing. Same time, same guy, public climate hat, private money hat. It's like he's both the referee and the star player for Brookfield Junior High. He's playing both sides at the same time. In any normal universe, anyone would look at this and say, hold on, man, that's a serious breach of trust. It's immoral. It's unethical. How could you be setting up the rules and then playing by the rules that you just rigged? But that's, I guess, how technocrats play this game, right? Rig it and then play it. And that's where Bruce Flatt comes in. Bruce Flatt, CEO of Brookfield. And this is that clip that I was talking to you about. So Bruce Flatt gets on camera, and this is in 2020, and says out loud the part that's going to make all this click for you. Not hyperbole, not speculation, not conjecture, evidence. He's not some critic. He's not some guy online. He's Brookfield's own CEO. And I want you to listen carefully to this extract and how he talks. He's not talking about saving the planet. He's not talking about birds, bees, and trees. He's talking about clients, products, portfolios, and where the money is going. Just watch.
We think this can be very significant. It's a meaningful extension for us, and the business never existed before. So we think this could be a $25 to $50 billion business for us, and we've started up with a number of people doing this within our organization. You may have seen we brought into the business Mark Carney, who is one of the leaders in impact and ESG around the world. We plan on creating a vertical of funds which will have a theme of impact investing. This is a very significant area of investment for funds for the next 25 years. We think this could be $50 to $100 billion AUM business.
Pause it right there. Did you hear that? Big institutional clients want ESG products. He talks about moving assets around the world into sustainable investments. Translation, a giant pile of money is available, and Brookfield wants to be as close as it can to a seat at that table. For the planet, of course. It's always for the planet and the children and the bees. Then comes this line. Bruce Flatt, CEO Brookfield, says Mark Carney and the things being done at the UN are going to help Brookfield tailor these strategies for our client. Not for the trees, not for the bees, not for clean rivers and shit. For clients. That's why this clip matters. He's talking like a CEO. Demand, products, clients, strategies, leverage. And then in the middle of all that, he drops Mark Carney and the UN. Carney's at the UN helping push climate change finance strategies. At the same time, he's at Brookfield helping build the ESG products that fit within that world that he's building at the UN. And Bruce Flatt is just sitting there like nobody's going to notice what they just did right here. Please understand how serious this actually is. Not that you don't already understand. The CEO of Brookfield is bragging about, I have one of the regulators for ESG who is setting up the rules in the United Nations, at the World Bank, at the IFC. Oh, and he just started working for us to help us develop the products that we need. So the regulator is now also the producer, and everyone's clapping for this. That's the whole thing. That's the business version, not the save the planet version, not the green agenda version. No, the business version. Clients, products, portfolios, asset transitions, strategies. That's not a climate speech, okay? That's a money meeting, a business meeting. And Bruce Flatt just said this all out loud. He just showed you the game and how this whole thing is basically rigged. This is why this timeline matters and why this clip is vital documentation. First, central banking, then climate risk, then the UN, then Brookfield, then slowly inch into advisor in Canada, and then prime minister. So climate starts out as a public issue. And for some crazy reason, it then becomes a banking issue. Then it becomes an investor issue. Then it becomes a rule book issue. Then it becomes a product. Then a shit ton of money goes into this product. And Mark Carney keeps showing up at the exact same spots where public speeches end up becoming private profit. Don't you find that weird? I mean, normal people hear climate action and what do we think? Clean water, fresh air, and all that type of stuff. The birds, the bees, the trees. But then it gets handed over to bankers. That's the issue. So now it's not pollution is bad anymore. Now it's basically clients want ESG products. Suddenly it's assets need to transition. Capital has to be mobilized. Strategies need to be tailored. And regular people like me are told, hey, pay more, accept more rules, and smile because I'm putting a green leaf on a brochure. See, we're saving the planet. I'm trying to strip away the cute branding bullshit that all these people are putting on everything. I want to get rid of all the investing language, the stakeholder language, the sustainability language, all the fancy language that people who are too ambitious for their own good use for financial opportunity. Big clients want this. Big money is moving. Brookfield basically wants it. Carney at the UN is the one helping to build that strategy. And then Carney becomes prime minister, of course. And this is where the question becomes even more provocative because this isn't a guy anymore collecting just fancy titles here and there anymore. It's not about that. This is a guy who was in the climate finance world. Then he was in Brookfield. Then he went into net zero. And now he's inside the office that can shape all of this and change any rules. Energy rule, infrastructure rules, public spending, subsidies, approvals, banking pressure, pension pressure. What gets funded? What gets blocked? What gets punished? What gets rewarded? That's real power. So if anyone ever tells you, why would Mark Carney leave millions of dollars on the table being the chair of this or that, special envoy to this or to that, and leave all that to basically become a prime minister of a country for $400,000 plus change and leave behind him on the table millions of dollars in salary from multiple companies beyond Brookfield? A guy like this is not chasing a salary. The office is that prize. The power is the prize. The ability to shape the rules around the strategies that you built, that's the prize. Carney didn't drop the UN stuff, the Brookfield stuff for the money when he was going to Ottawa to become prime minister. He went from a guy that was inside the machine building it to the guy that now gets to sit on the chair to steer this machine that he just built for himself. And this is why this clip is important. The CEO of Brookfield just told you the referee is now playing for Brookfield High, and then he becomes the prime minister and gets to change the rules of Canada in a way that with a majority would be very easy. How are we supposed to react to this? CBC tells you celebrate. We have a great man in the office now. That's the level of gaslighting bullshit that every single person is being fed.